NBA Finals Game 1 last night. A little surprising the way that matriculated, especially given that the Spurs had a 14-point lead in the third quarter. I promise you, I'm not trying to sink the knife. I'm just setting the scene here.
The slow change in her face.
The smile fades.
At least this time it was the slow change rather than like the complete face drop that I normally get from her.
Let me see if I can figure this out here. So like if I just like slowly zoom in on her face.
Nobody wants
encroaching on taking over my screen.
Yes.
That's actually probably for the best. Spurs were up 14, coughed up the lead. Jalen Brunson and company come all the way back and get the win. Some highlights from last night's game here on your screen right now.
Real quick before we get into the nitty-gritty of the game, more props to the person who came up with the Fiesta coloring because it is gorgeous on screen. It is dynamic. I like it when crowds get into showcasing the colors of the city. Like when OKC has the alternated blue and white. Mm-hmm. Or I'm trying to think of other franchises that have done it. The Heat do it when they go their white out. You know what I mean? Like it's an ominous feeling to be in that cauldron when that's the case.
The only thing about it that is weird to me, because I agree, it looks really cool, and it's a cool bit. There's a section of the crowd that's wearing Knicks orange. That part of it is weird.
Orange.
That's not Knicks orange.
It's okay. It's
orange.
orange, which is not a San Antonio Spurs
yesterday
color.
it was Knicks red.
I know. I was wrong about. I was blatantly wrong about that one. I will cop to that 100%.
We're finding out he's colorblind.
Right.
Just blind.
There were a couple of moments where they took close-up shots,
Yeah.
and there are Spurs fans that are going nuts about something good that Wemby just did or whatever, and they're all wearing orange, and it was just it threw me for a half a second.
That's far more City Connect than anything the MLB has done City Connect.
And the first time they did it, a reminder that they hadn't been back in the playoffs since 2019, so it's been a minute. They debuted these Fiesta shirts during an actual Fiesta, which is a citywide celebration in San Antonio, and that really kind of set the stage. If you remember that first game when the city shirts debuted or whatever, Tim Duncan was in the orange. David Robinson was wearing the shirt.
He blessed the orange, all right? Settle down.
He blessed the Knicks orange. No, I'm kidding. But yes, no, I think the fact that
this is why they lost. Because David Robinson and Tim Duncan were wearing Knicks orange.
I don't know if they were last night. And I will say this, too. There wasn't actually, I would say, surprisingly large contingent of Knicks fans in attendance who were reportedly pretty loud.
Did I see a shot of Chalamet?
Was he there?
Chalamet was there?
Timothy? Or Timothy? Or what?
I think when we were just rolling that B-roll, I'm pretty sure I saw Timothy Chalamet.
Well, I couldn't pick him out of a lineup of
Timothy.
10 Timothy's.
You couldn't pick him out of a lineup? I feel like he's got a very distinct, gaunt face.
Yeah.
What's the ping pong movie that he did?
Marty Supreme?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Aaron and I watched that the other night. That movie is absolutely bonkers, weird, crazy.
Somewhere in this building, Zeke is running down the hall going, I'm coming to talk about Timothy Chalamet.
It is the
can take my mic.
strangest, and
I can't
apparently
contribute.
based on a true story, at least loosely, I hope. I hope loosely based on a true story, because the things that happen in that film are insane.
I can't contribute. You're talking to just Andrew.
I haven't seen it
I don't
yet.
know that
I'm not going to lean into it.
It sounds like I'm the only one in the room that has seen it.
It kind of felt a little bit to me, and not to get too far down the movie rabbit hole, but it felt a little bit like Bradley Cooper and Maestro, where it's just like I'm going to find the one not necessarily famous but niche person I can so lean into a role and put myself up for Academy Awards for.
Probably, but listen, he was.
Again,
it was really, really, really flipping strange. It was wild.
Movie conversation, sports conversation.
Yeah.
We can talk about Maestro more. I love Leonard Bernstein. Let's talk about it more.
I did not see Maestro, so I'm
that
out
felt
on
self-indulgent.
That one,
I'm sorry.
As far as the game itself and you saying it's surprising, I actually wasn't all that surprised. Having watched all 82 of their regular season games this year, there have been instances, though I will say earlier in the season, where they had a double-digit lead.
Wait.
Oh, we're looking for the guy?
Oh, yeah.
That's Chalamet, right? Is that Fat Joe next to him?
I don't know who any of these people are.
That's Tracy Morgan.
There's Tracy Morgan.
That is Fat Joe.
Okay, I'm so sorry, Michelle. You were 100% making a point. I'm going to turn my mic off now.
No,
honestly, it's on brand that the Knicks celebrities are getting planted over Spurs.
Yeah, no, for real. Well, I mean, and I think deservedly so. The Knicks we need to talk about. More specifically, Jalen Brunson, former Maverick, we need to talk about.
yeah.
Because at least half of the second half of the season, Mike Brown, the head coach for the Knicks, had been petitioning like Jalen Brunson is an MVP candidate, and he continued to toot that horn last night. He said Jalen was our MVP in the fourth quarter, and throughout these playoffs, Steph Castle has been tasked with guarding the other team's MVP, and for the most part, he has locked them down. And Jalen Brunson, in the 3 meetings between these two teams this season, has given Steph fits. And then you saw in the fourth quarter, as a team, they struggled so much to contain him. And when you have a guy who has that capability of scoring, the way that we've seen Jalen Brunson do, not just this year, but specifically this season, you need to be able to figure out ways to, as a team, defend him. And if they struggle,
creativity,
right?
He's so good.
He's so good.
This play specifically,
Look
again,
how many black shirts are around him.
Yeah.
And he's still.
It is crazy to me that we're having a literal David versus Goliath matchup here, where everyone anticipates Wemby being this unstoppable force. It feels like he's been this entire time. Like the road that they've been on, even through OKC, even though they were throwing bodies at him, he's pulling up from half court, making 3-pointers look like they're layups practically.
But that play on your screen right now, notwithstanding, he was rather stoppable last night.
Yes.
Jalen?
6 for 21. No, Wemby.
Wemby. Yes.
Yeah.
Wemby was inefficient last night.
The turnover late in the game was shocking.
Well, and
6 turnovers in total for Wemby.
Again, in their meetings earlier this season, I don't know specifically, I can't tell you from like a coach's brain matchup-wise what it is about Karl Anthony Towns, but that matchup, especially early, Cat was finding ways to assert his dominance offensively against Wemby in ways that you haven't seen other big guys do really in any other matchup. And I've said this before, the Knicks scare me because there were 2 teams that make me nervous about the Spurs. One was the Timberwolves and one was the Knicks. And again, the New York team is showing you why, at least in game 1, because they have bodies that for one reason or another, the Spurs can't always find solutions to.
It was also alarming how bad the Spurs guards played against New York. It was like Wemby was out there by him, especially late in the game. It looked like Wemby was playing 1-on-5.
Yeah. I think a lot of people were surprised to see the name Dylan Harper, at least early in this game. They were like, who's
he
this
was
Dylan
the only
Harper
one
kid?
that really wasn't problematic. Yeah.
And
Well, Champagne hit some threes and kept them in it, but
right.
still.
Yeah. And also, this New York team, and we've seen this throughout their entire season, right? They're either really, really good and their best is hard to compete with, or they're really, really bad.
Yeah.
When they're shooting the way that they're capable of shooting,
It's
any
crazy.
defense
Well, I mean,
is going to struggle.
Literally, Spurs 14-point lead. Knicks led by 8. The Spurs come back on a 9-0 run and take a lead. And when that happened, I'm literally thinking, when they take the lead on Wemby's free throws, it's like, okay, we might trade late, but this is a home game. They're going to figure this out.
Yeah.
And to then essentially not score for the rest of the game was kind of jarring.
But I've seen the Spurs offense go cold at times. Like they are, and that's why this is the thing. That's why they rely so much on those guards getting inside, because you have Dylan Harper who's so good at finishing around the rim. You have Steph Castle who can generally take some contact and still find a way to finish. De'Aaron Fox, obviously, his speed allows him to get to the basket pretty much at will. And when you have all 3 of those guards not able to do that, their ability to penetrate is why they get those wide open shots. It's why they can use the pick and roll so efficiently. And when that goes cold, which it has for short spurts throughout the season, that's when you're like, oh my God, this offense can't score. And I think some credit goes to the Knicks. But I also think, if y'all will remember, the Knicks trailed by 22 in the fourth quarter in that game.
Against the Cavs, right?
Yeah. And then came back. And at that point, gave any hope to anyone else that, dissipated. All the hope dissipated.
Yeah.
So they've shown their ability. And think about last year even. Their series against the Celtics. They've shown, this is, I think, where that experience component comes in, is the Knicks have at times been down by double digits and been able to overcome that time and time again in the postseason. They can rely on that And they did last night.
And the other thing about it, like you're talking experience, this core might not have been together, but Cat's been around a long time. Brunson has this extensive history. Mikal Bridges, who we always continuously overlook when we analyze his team, but makes like 3 circus shots a game and is a consistent threat from the perimeter. Obviously, the Villanova core is crazy, but like that team is battle hardened, not even just in New York, but just their experiences around the league. And that's what makes them scary to me. And it's part of the reason why I kind of caution some of the discussion heading into this finals, where it's just like we're penciling in Wemby for a dynasty in the Spurs at this point. They haven't won a finals game yet, and they had home court. That is now gone at this point. They're going to have to find a way to win an MSG to get back into this thing.
Okay, but at least I know I did, and I know at least 2 other people on this call yesterday said Spurs in 6, and you can't win in 6 if you don't lose at least 2.
That is true.
Or I guess only 2.
This is you only 2, but you're losing a couple along the way. I did not expect it was going to be game 1 though. Game 2 is tomorrow night. You can watch that here on WFAA as well, and we'll see whether or not the Spurs can pull even and at least head to New York with a 1-1 split. The other